All right, what's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be doing a review discussion for Fully Cooley Alternative, episode 4, entitled Pitapat. And in this week's episode, man, I gotta say this off the bat, this was way better than last week's episode. Not that last week's episode was bad, but it wasn't the greatest thing in the world. They definitely, just like with last season, they basically, I think this was the more, I don't want to say this is a more experimental episode in terms of what they were doing with the animation and stuff, but and I'm pretty sure you noticed this also. They were being like really expressive with the characters' faces in a lot of those moments, a lot of the crazy moments in this episode, and there were a lot of crazy moments. I thought this was way better than last week's episode. Way better. What you think?
Is a lot more goofy. A lot more goofy. And, like, honestly, I didn't expect Haruko to act like such a... like so much of an ass just to get her portal working. If you notice, like, they've been really secretive about Kana's NO channel, in comparison to like Nata's and Hidomi's. Like, we've seen like stuff like pop out of their heads already. With her, this is the 4th episode. We still have yet to see what comes out of there. If you've noticed that.
Yeah, she hasn't had too much of activity when it comes to hers. But because I was about to say, I thought you were gonna say that they've kind of been pulling back when it comes to Haruko this season. Because remember, like last episode review, I mentioned that Haruko's for like she like in the last episode, it seemed like she actually kind of cared about Kana. I think it was either last episode or episode before that.
What was last episode?
Yeah, yes.
You said
that. Okay, yeah. It was last episode review. I said that, yeah, she kind of seems like she kind of, in her own way, kind of, cares about Kana and even her friends. Like, she's not even really being a nuisance too much in comparison to last season. Whereas in this episode, yeah, it's just like it was like she did a complete 360, 180, whatever you want to call it. She's completely being a nuisance to everybody, getting on everyone's nerves and just causing chaos and ruckus. Honestly, she was at her best. Haruko was at her best in this episode. I feel this episode had pretty much all that we have come to expect from this show. The wackiness, the goofiness, as you were telling me earlier. Like that whole scene where she's in the bathtub and the guy pulls down his pants and she reaches inside. Like, I mean, there was so many crazy moments in this week's episode. I mean, it's kind of hard to really say, oh, this moment was better than this moment. Because I thought like I said, there was a lot of crazy stuff that happened. And I'm thankful that at least this episode it ended off with a cliffhanger. In the beginning of the episode, they were talking about the pins and how if you connect the dots or connect the lines or whatever, they're coming together to form something. And then at the end, we got the big reveal. So it seems like in next week's episode, that's where we're kind of getting close to the climax or whatever. But yeah, what do you think, just in general? Any other things you want to add?
No, besides the reveal of the giant iron showing back up, because that's pretty much a staple at this point. Like, you can't like do the invasion without the giant iron, so it's like, oh yeah, that means it's setup time, or this episode kind of was anyway in a sense. But this episode was really goofy, and that's not a bad thing. That's one of the best qualities. It's like Haruko works a lot better when she's off the cuff, when she's like there's no one to like restrict her. Because if I swear to goodness, if Jenny was here, like we would see like so much like interference. But just Oh my god, there really are too many moments to like count in this episode. But the one that got me is like kind of talking to the dude again that she likes. I can God help me, I can't remember his name for the life of me. I still haven't even
Is it?
from
I
the
think it's like
beginning of it.
Sasuke or something like that.
For the love of God, have no idea what this guy's name is still. Anyway, just like, oh yeah, I'm just not ready, man. Just yeah, we're not gonna be a thing. So yeah, bye. He just stands there like like what just happened? It's just like I feel so bad because like he's just like expecting something. And he's just all like, "No, I'm just not ready. I'm just not ready." Haruko was right. I'm not ready
And
for
I
this
love
yet. And
how
I'm
her
just like,
three friends just like keep teasing her about it, and like when she's trying to talk to him, while she's on the screen on the swing. I can't even speak right now. She's on the swing. It's at night. She's talking to him, and they're holding the signs and stuff, telling her what to say, whatever. And this gives kind of getting back to what I was saying earlier about how expressive they were kind of being in this episode. You know, it's at one point, I can't even. How do I explain this? Basically, what they were doing to her face at that point in time that she was talking to the guy. You know what I'm talking about. Uh,
yeah,
like I said, that was something that I just like. I noticed throughout the episode. I just kept looking at the different characters' faces and their emotions and stuff, and I like what they were doing. Because again, the three her three friends in the background, uh, they're just waiting for something to happen, and then like at the basketball game, I love that moment where she gets hit with the ball and like she can't. It's like she can't even process, and she's so infuriated with Haruko because you know Haruko's just doing all this just to get her in get her NO channel activated and stuff. She's just doing that just to pretty much screw with her and pretty much satisfy her own needs. It's a God. It was something else I was gonna say up there, but anyway, um, yeah. Um, but what was I about to say? Oh yeah, the moment where she's going crazy. She gets so infuriated with Haruko, and then she's running out. She's knocking over people like they're bowling pins. You know, it was just a fantastic episode.
honestly, like, oh, I can't even deal. It. She just like just barrels over everybody. I'm like, oh my god, what is happening? Oh yeah, and what is the dude? What is the glasses dude's name? Because I've been keep calling him glasses the entire time. Like,
Uh,
I'm,
don't ask me. Don't ask me. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I don't know. You were so when the show was on, you text me. I wasn't by my phone at first. You text me. You think that's Nauta, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, that might be kind of scratching it, but I don't know. Who knows? I mean, you're one of those people that really want to see him again. I know there's a lot of people that really want to see Nauta again. I think fans are gonna want to just kind of will him into existence in any one of these sequels. Like in last season, we were thinking, oh, that's gonna be Naota. Naota's gonna be the father of Hidomi, and then this season you're thinking that the guy that keeps going to the place where Kana works, you think that that's Naota basically. And what makes you
no
think
way.
that though? I mean, because Naota didn't wear glasses.
It's just the way
I mean, granted,
he
his
probably
eyesight.
needed him over time.
Yeah,
We
like
don't know.
granted, his eyesight could have gone bad. Who knows?
I mean, yeah, and not only that, but they talk to each other like they know each other already, and it's like that like past history that we don't know about, but they know about. But I'm just like, I'm. It's not even like that. I want Nata in here. It's like I've kind of gotten over that at the progressive, to be honest with you. But it's just like the way that they talk to each other and the way that Haruko just pops in to the facility, just like, oh yeah, like yeah, yeah. So yeah, what's going on now? It's like they know each other. Like it's like okay, whatever you're gonna do, just don't do it. And she's just gonna ignore him, like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna do it. You know, I'm gonna do it. He's just like,
Bye
oh,
bye.
oh.
That
He's
man,
just like,
I
oh my
love her voice.
god.
I love her voice actor. I like the voice acting. She's like,
So
okay, I'm gonna do whatever I want. Bye bye.
he's talking about some manners.
But
But
the fact that they know each other, because I mean, they did that with another character, with the eyebrows guy from the first season. He knew about her, so
yeah,
so it
yeah,
wouldn't be the
but
first
still, it's
time.
like,
It wouldn't be the first time that they introduced a character that she has some type of history with or whatever.
yeah. But I don't know, man. Like, I'm probably just like trying to connect the dots with something, if a highlighter, for all I know. It's like, it might be him, it might not be, but I don't know. I'm just probably just stretching it, just to stretch it, because it's like that whole, like, oh yeah, we've had history thing, and then he knows how she is, and she knows how he is, and it's like, I'm stretching it. I know, but I like to think that that's him, and he just changed his name, and it's just like, oh, he needs glasses in the future now. So, and this is where he is. So, I'm stretching it. I know, but
Well, speaking about so speaking of scratching, just to kind of get back into what I was talking about earlier. Now that I've had a bit of a chance to kind of think about it while you were talking there, I think what it is with the animation tonight, because I keep talking about how expressive they were when it came to how they were showing again the characters' faces, and even what they were doing with Haruko when they were in class and the teacher was telling dude to speak about the basketball game and everything, and he was getting all nervous. She noticed how she was like wrapping around him and stuff. They were really exaggerating a lot of the animation in this week's episode, and I definitely like what they were doing there. It definitely fitted with all the goofiness and the craziness of the episode. And like at the end of the episode where the mechanical, I guess that was a bull.
was
I guess it's like a bull or whatever, mechanical bull at the end. So like that moment at the end where she is Kana is talking to the guy that she's interested in, and they're all in the background. So like Pets and Moson and the other chick whose name I cannot think of right now, and Haruko, they're all in the background, and then like the mechanical bull's right by them, and Haruko's like pull it out of her already, and they're like go for it, and Pets and what was it? Pets and Moson, they're up there making kissy faces or whatever. He's like, kiss him now. And then the bull shows up out of nowhere. They're like, they say some gibberish. They're like, wait, or something like that. And it's just like, it's just little moments like that. Like this felt like pure fully coolly in his finest. I don't think anyone can have any complaints about this episode, especially in comparison to last week's episode. I mean, I honestly thought, and the action wasn't even there wasn't even a lot of action in the episode. Even at the end, there really wasn't this big climax. And honestly, even though like last week there wasn't a big climax, I was still satisfied with the episode. It was still an entertaining episode, even without a big climax. She just simply dunks the ball into his head and basically destroys the mechanized bull, and that's it. It's just plain and simple. That quick. It was over instantly, but it was still a satisfying episode, even if it didn't have, again a lot of action in it. I think it was just goofy. It was entertaining. And honestly, as much as I like was talking about how I didn't really like how, because I don't really like eccentric characters and stuff like how Kana is. I mean, they make it work with this show. They make her interesting enough, and you can kind of get where, especially in this episode, where she's coming from. And just like with last week, well, not last week's episode, week before last, where the the other chick whose name I keep forgetting, the model, the her with the episode before then, and she by the end of the episode they had character development for by the end of the episode. I feel like in this episode they did the same thing with Kana. Even though, like I said a few weeks ago, I was thinking, oh, they were gonna have an episode focused on each of the girls. We still don't know jack squat about is it Pets or yeah, it's Pets.
Yeah.
She's the only one that hasn't gotten any focus really yet. I mean, she makes side comments throughout this episode, and at least they give her personality like they've given the other characters, but we don't really know too much about her. So I'm hoping, and I don't know because next week's episode, it seems like they're gearing toward that big finale, that big climax. So I wonder if they're gonna ever have any time to kind of dive into this character, or if she's just gonna be if they're just not gonna do it. And even if they don't do it, she won't be as bad as like what's his name from last season, like Marco and I can't even remember the fat guy's name. That kind of tells you something. That kind of tells you something. The fat guy from last season and Marco, like those two were the weakest characters from last season. And I only say that these characters are now that I'm kind of seeing this season more, they're at least they're good. They're good. They're good. But yeah, I've talked enough. What do you think about any animation, voice acting, whatever? Go ahead, add I guess your final thoughts so we can kind of score this and get the heck out of here.
Okay. Agree with most of what pretty much everything you said. Just to add on to that, like their dynamic. The reason why Kana works, I think, is because of her dynamic with her squad, I guess, which is exactly one of the things that, like I pointed out, that like when we started doing alternative to begin with, I'm like, okay, she has friends, and that's probably what's going to work to her advantage, which it has. Which is why like she works, and just like, and again, like is really set apart from both Hidomi and Naota. Like again, like that giant comparison between all three characters is like one didn't want to come out of the shell, one acted like an adult, one just is I guess is trying to grow up too fast, and it's very very quirky. So she works.
Yeah, I
About
feel
the
like they
episode,
need. Well, not to cut you off,
good.
but I feel
All
like
right.
they need. Nah, the only thing I was gonna add was I think they feel like I think they needed those characters to kind of anchor Kana, because it's like if those characters weren't there and it was just
Yeah.
Kana, just if it was just Kana dealing with Haruko's antics by herself, I don't think I would like this as much. I don't think it would work. But because she has these supporting characters, and they're really not supporting characters, they're really all main characters. But because she has that support, for lack of a better term, it works. It works. But go ahead and continue saying what you were gonna say.
So basically, like exactly, like if she didn't have like her squad, like I don't think she would work as well. Which she really does work with these three, with her three friends, and that's what really brings sets her apart from both of the other two protagonists that we've already gotten. So, and she's like, it's not, and also like she doesn't like just deal with them on a regular basis. Like, oh, wonderful, I have to deal with these people. No, she embraces these people. We can tell that they are friends. That's the most. We can see that their friendship is genuine. Is what I'm trying to say. That being said, let me go to the animation. The animation was very impressive, especially with the whole like NBA Street Volume 4 animation with Argo like dunked on the bull. That whole thing, like the animation switched up there, and I'm like, okay, all right. Basically, everything about this episode's animation was great, and What else can I say about the pills that I haven't already said? They kick in when they absolutely need to, and really, what they do for the series. So with this season so far, it's been good. So
Yeah,
and
definitely
you gotta
no
even got
complaints when it comes to the music.
so um in a little callback, like when the episode was wrapping up, it's like, okay, I hear that in the background. I see you, pillows. All right, so they know what they're doing. So if I had to rate this, I think we gave last one a 7. I would have to
Yeah,
give
yeah, I
this
think we
in.
did.
I would have to get. I would have to give this in at least an 8. An 8. I would have to get this an 8.
I'll go a little higher. I won't necessarily give it a 9, but I'll give it an 8.5. I was thoroughly entertained throughout, like I said. And after last week's episode, I was kind of getting scared, but it was just like I think last week's episode. You know what? I can't believe I didn't think about this last week. Last week's episode was the equivalent of the beach episode almost. It pretty much was. It was pretty much
Holy
the
crap! You're
equivalent
right.
of the freaking beach episode. It was just like slightly better than that. Well, not even slightly better. Well, it was definitely better than the beach episode, but it was basically this season's beach episode. Pretty much. But yeah, so that's
Oh
all
my
we
god! You're right.
uh, so that's all we got for this week's episode review. Let us know what you guys think about the Fully Cooley episode this week, and what you get, and what you think is gonna happen for next week's episode. Like the video, subscribe. Unlike last week's episode review, I'm gonna just go back to using pictures. I don't know if that kind of confused some of y'all, or if y'all didn't like that or whatever. No one really commented about that, about the video format. So I'm just gonna switch back to using images, still images, because it's actually easier to render and process and upload and stuff like that. So we're gonna go back to that format. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.